Hi, I'm Reggie, the Real Critic. I'm here with Dewayne Perkins for his movie, The Blackening. And Dewayne,
Yes.
you must have been trying to take out all the frustrations black people have had for years with this movie. Talk about, because you did something for me with that.
Oh, do that? Okay, I love that. Ooh, I loved it. Okay,
I got it. I got it.
Nice. Truly, it was just a moment for me. The original idea came from, I was on this all-black sketch show, and I needed a sketch for all of us. And I love horror movies, and I just imagined if this cast was in a horror movie, who would die first? And I was like, well, if they picked the black person, well, we are black, so they have to have a way to pick the black person. Pick the person that's the blackest. And I was like, that is the funniest way to say black people are not the same, but you can't define that. And then expanding it into the film, it was just about adding as many instances of blackness to really showcase we are not a monolith, and then have as much fun as possible. So yeah, I'm obsessed with the film. I'm so happy the way it turned out.
And so a little birdie told me that you have this dance background, right? So you have a dance scene in this film. Talk about the dance scene.
So there's a scene where I'm a Molly and then I dance. You know what's crazy? There is a dancing that got cut where it was fully choreographed. I hope it's in the special features where when the board game scene, there's a scene that mentions dark skin Aunt Viv and light skin Aunt Viv. And there was a bonus question that said we can get a bonus question if you can do the dance that she did. And I did the entire dance, and then I got cut. But yeah, Galen Hooks, she came and taught it to me, and she was a dancer for Janet. She's done so much, and I was so excited. And then it didn't make it in, but yeah, dance is a love of mine, and I've met some great people through it.
Wonderful. So, this whole concept of we can't all die first. I bought it that we can't all die first, but maybe we all can't die too.
Yeah, I mean, it's very funny. I love the tagline because it is a funny statement, but it's also a secret threat. As you look at the poster, we're all holding weapons. We can't die first. It speaks to the trope of the black person dying first, but it also speaks to the resilience of the group, of community, of black people. They're like, oh no, you might kill one of us, what you think the rest of us doing? We cannot die first, meaning, oh no, you can't take us all down. And so that is kind of the energy that the movie comes with. They're like, oh, you best believe you get one of us, the rest of us just sitting there. We also gonna fight.
And so this comes out when we watch horror movies. What we see all the time is you hear people in the background no, I wouldn't do that, I wouldn't do that. And that's basically what you're saying. You're saying, no, we're not going to just stand here and take it.
Yes, it was very intentional to put the people that talk to the movie in the movie and allow them to make the choices that they would make. There's a scene specifically where the cast is watching a TV that our friend is captured in, and we're yelling at the TV. Being like, girl, go up the stairs, do this. And it's happening at the same time where the audience is yelling at us, yelling at a TV. It's very meta in that way. But that's what we set out to do, is make a movie for the people that yell at movies. Because why would we make these dumb choices?
I love that. But there's also this thing that you do about the non-talk talk. Where did that come from? Talk about that.
That came from the director, Tim Sawyer. This movie is a horror, and it's a comedy. It's very silly, and that was a very funny way to really represent the innate spirit that I think black people share. Because I think there's this thing of being black people are not the same, but also there's some similarities. There is a togetherness that we all have, and this idea of being able to look at somebody and be like, you know what I'm talking about. That thing, giving a visual language to that was what we were doing, and I think it's so silly and so funny, but still speaks to a real thing that black people experience, which is a togetherness So yeah, it's one of my favorite parts. It's so silly.
I really like it because there's this phrase, you know, if looks could talk, and looks are talking in this movie.
They are in the one moment in the third act where I don't want to give too much away, but it's used in a very funny way. One of my favorite parts, because it also speaks to the character who felt the most ostracized still had enough togetherness to be able to have that moment. Because despite black people all having very different lived experiences, there is something that connects us through our sense of identity and culture.
Do you think that black people are the only ones who are going to get this?
No, I think that one of the purposes is to show that like blackness is also universal. That like we have human experiences that all people can relate to. I think that there are certain jokes that feel very specific to black people, but similarly to how I have consumed decades of movies and cinema and media that were not necessarily made for me, I think this is another one of those opportunities that if you don't know what we're talking about, go learn it. I've had to learn a lot of things. If you know, you know. And if you don't, then go find out.
So you know, I don't want you to sing here, but do you know the third verse of? No, maybe I shouldn't ask you.
Because you know I don't. That's the question I would have died on. And I think that is the fun of some of the questions in like the board game, is that in real life, a lot of the cast did not know these things. These were real, and one of the best joys that I've had so far was like sitting in an audience with people and have people playing the game along with us and be like, damn, I would have died. And be like, yeah, these are not, and this is why I think it's very funny when people are like, oh, is this just for black people? I'm like, no, black people are not the same. Some black people will get some jokes, some will get others. And I think that is the universal experience, is that everything is not for everybody. And that is the fun of being human. Because if it interests you, then you have an opportunity to go absorb something that is not of you.
I like your character because your character is really there for your friend. I mean, like, really, really there for your friend. And you guys kind of go back and forth. I mean, you at one point, you're like, what? Come on, you're going to be with this dude, and I've been the one to hold you up. How did you relate to that?
One thing that I really wanted to expand on was the gay best friend trope. I think often in movies that there are gay best friends who serve as like a tertiary character to the development of a main character, and giving space to that actual friendship, because I am gay, I have a lot of friends, I am someone's gay best friend, but I'm also a whole person. I have an entire life, I have a total lived experience, and to bring that relationship equal to that of a romantic relationship, what I feel like a lot of people prioritize, that was me saying, hey, friendship is actually one of the most fundamental relationships I have in my life that allows me the space to grow. And I think we need to give space to that, because this is real. This is not a relationship that should be sidelined. This is a relationship worth being the main storyline. So that was very intentional.
So let's talk about spades. Spades.
Yes.
It is a staple. You lose your black card if you don't know spades.
Yeah, which is insane. And this is why this movie was made. Third act, people, watch it, because we have to relax. We have to relax. Spades should not feel so high stakes. I don't play spades for that reason. Not the gasp. I've just been in too many situations where it has turned left. I don't have the passion. Winning is not that important to me, and there is a skill level that people play with that I just don't have. Like, I've seen people know, based on what is played, they know what cards people have left. And I'm just like, how are you doing that mental math for this card game? Now you finna beat me up because I thought I ran out of clubs. My cards were stuck together, and now we finna fight. It's not that deep. It ain't that deep.
So I love the fact that you do touch on this whole issue that all blacks are not the same, and each of your characters has something different that they bring to the party. And so when you ask all these different questions, you really reveal that. And asking the question of who's the blackest, come on, man, come on.
There's just so many ways to define that, and that's where the comedy comes from. Because if you like, well, is it color? because when we said it, Namdi, who was the darkest character, was like, maybe we shouldn't judge everybody. And they were like, well, if we're not going by that, what is it? Is it how much culture you have? Is it like, how do we define that? And that's the whole joke. Like, you can't. This is a journey you cannot win. This man is trying to kill y'all. So like, there's no way to answer that without completely, like, even when they choose from the sketch, from the film, like, oh, the one guy voted for Trump, that is still not the blackest thing. It was like, oh, that is a thing that we don't like. But there was never an answer, because you can't. It doesn't make, like, there's no answer. That's the whole point.
I love that. So when you did your casting, you got to talk a little bit about your cast. When you did your casting, how did you get these folks?
Well, the director, Tracy Oliver, and the casting director, they really worked really hard to kind of find people that could really embody the characters in like a real, authentic way, so that we can be characters, but there is a part of us within these characters that we can tap into authentically. And that's something I love, is that each of the cast members had a specific thing within themselves that they were trying to showcase or deny with these characters. But like, my character was like, yes, this is a black queer character who's being allowed to be black and queer in a way that I have not in the media that I've been allowed to occupy space in. There's certain, like Grace Spire, who plays Allison, there's been many opportunities where she has not been allowed to be funny, to be outside of the characters that she's played. Melvin Gregg, he said that he's always being cast as like thugs because of like his natural voice, like where he comes from, and being able to give a voice to that character, and like, no, this is not who I am. This is who I used to be. Like, there are parts of me that exist, but I am more than that. Each of these characters were trying to prove that they are more than the perception of what people think that they are, and that really rings true to the characters and to the actors that play them.
You said this is funny. You said this is funny, and it is funny. But I was like a little bit like taken aback. I'm worried for you, for the characters in this. I mean, it's not just all funny.
There's some real high stakes scares, and I think that juxtaposition of real fear makes the comedy hit harder. Because if you have the ability to really create tension, create the suspense, the levity makes that more tense, and then to dissipate that makes the laughs stronger. So I think that the horror and the comedy play so well together, because the emotions are very close. Like, fear and laughter are like very close, and nothing makes a laugh better than a scream that turns into a laugh.
Talk about your writing process, because it started off with the skit, but to blow that out, was that difficult for you? How did you come about being able to extend it without drawing it out? If you understand my question. Yeah,
well, the sketch was like 5 minutes, and then the movie was like an hour and a half, so it was true, like 36 times more work. It was just a lot of extra writing. But something we really wanted to do was keep the sketch within the film, so that we can show that the film was expanded around the central premise, which is the sketch. So our biggest job was just creating characters that could carry the plot, that felt real and authentic, so that, because we're not doing a spoof. We are doing, this is a horror movie with with all black actors. So we really just needed to ground it in something that felt real, and really focus on the friendship, so that we know that like these people actually care about each other, and that their survival is dependent on that care.
What did you learn about yourself during this process?
That I'm really good at acting and writing movies.
You heard that? Oh, okay. Cut. No.
Period.
Period. Because of that, that means that you are going to continue to do that, right?
Yeah, that is my hope. I will continue. This is going to be a franchise. I already know it. We're going to go big, baby. But yeah, achieving this really did give me the validation that I know how to do this, which let them know I will continue to do it because who gonna stop me?
Right. Well, I'm the one asking the question, so I'm definitely not going to answer that. And so, since you're talking about the franchise, I can see that. I mean, I can really see the Blackening 5 because it's so many different things that you can do when you play off of these particular characters. What do you hope that the audience will take away? You talked about this whole issue of, you know, all black people aren't the same, but what do you hope that the audience take away from this movie?
I hope audiences really just take away that this is a fun, entertaining movie that you can watch over and over again with your friends. Like, it's, at its core, a movie about friendship in the setting of a horror with levity. But I don't think we wrote it with an agenda. We weren't like, oh, we're trying to say so much. We were like, no, we just want black people to be allowed to just like be themselves and exist in a way that feels full and authentic. And I think we achieved that. So my only goal is that people actually really enjoy it, that they leave the theater happier than they came.
Well, let's talk about happier, because tonight you screened this for your family and friends, so that sounds like going from happy to happier. What are your thoughts about doing this in front of family and friends?
I'm very excited. I'm very proud of what we've done. And I've seen this movie a lot. I've seen it multiple times. And each time, I still feel very good about it. I've never got tired of watching it. And so I hope that they feel the same way. There's just been so much positivity around it. So I hope that they feel that. I hope that they feel the love, the chemistry. And then they know that they have a movie that they can watch all the time. Come on, Juneteenth movie, watch it yearly.
So I'm gonna spend my last 30 seconds to ask you to look straight to the camera and and give me that 30-second why people should come and check this one out.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm gonna let you hold the mic too.
Booyah. Okay. You should come see the Blackening. You should come see the Blackening because it is like no movie that you've seen. It gives you everything that you love about horror, gives you everything you love about comedy, but in a packaging that feels new, fresh, and fun. You should see it because I'm in it, and I'm not in no other movie. So come see me, be a star. And also, deadass, you will not see an ensemble as good as this one. It's killers. Like, it's just a fantastically performed, very smart, very silly. Some would say dumb, kind of dumb. It's a very fun, silly, dumb, well done movie. And I think you will have a good time.
Well, you heard it here. I'm Reggie Ponder, the real critic.
I'll take you out.
You heard that here too. But I want to combat what he just said. I don't think it's dumb. I think this is a really smart. I think this is a really smart film.
It's like dumb in like a good way. Like similarly to like dumb jokes. Like it's silly. Like it's silly fun. It's like dumb fun. It's not dumb. It's just like it's not smart. It's very very smart. But it's dumb. It's like it does not take itself serious because it's not meant to be. It's a movie, a fun movie that you should be smiling. You should be laughing. You should be giggling. You should be screaming. But it's not a think piece. It's not, we don't want you to try to break this down and like we want you to enjoy it and have fun. And that's what I mean by dumb, is that like we're not pushing anything except for fun, entertainment.
Cool. Quick questions.
Yeah.
Favorite pizza?
Oh, okay. I think it's between Home Run Inn and Villa Rosa.
Okay. Favorite dance style?
Hip hop, though it did cause me to tear my ACL, so we mad at her right now.
Favorite director?
Tim Story. Tim Story is deadass one of my favorite people in Hollywood. He's one of the best people I've ever worked with.
Favorite choreographer?
Galen Hooks, because she choreographed that piece that y'all will never see. Yeah.
That's it, you guys. I'm Reggie Ponder, the real critic. That's Dewayne Perkins. The movie is The Blackening. Come check it out. We out. Thanks so much, Dewayne.
Of course. Peace out.